Right, let's arrive. And I thought we'd be doing very energetic things to begin with, and we probably will, but I'm already overheated. Beautiful sunshine coming in through the window. I hope it's sunny where you are. So find some space. Make sure you're not going to clip your fingers on walls or knock any valuable Ming vases off a shelf. And these first few movements are simply about arriving, turning up, being present. So shifting your weight, feet a little wider than shoulders, seeing how each of the weight-bearing joints feels. So hips, knees, ankles, just checking them out, not making them do something that you're not happy about, not pushing through resistance, letting the spine turn. The arms are soft, just hanging off the shoulders. That's it. So we're not trying to use up energy at the moment. We're just giving it the opportunity of moving. Letting your head turn on your shoulders. When you meet resistance, don't push through the resistance. Let the mind just shift itself slightly and notice those areas of freedom. Where does the body like going? That's it. Feeling the weight of your arms, just gently drawing the shoulders apart. Eyes usually half open. Wide open can make you feel a bit dizzy. Closed can make you feel a bit dizzy. That's it. Good. So, those two nice images in this very early stage. Mind's eye, imagining you're somewhere spacious, open. Nothing obstructing your view out to the horizon. Doesn't matter if the horizon is clear or fuzzy. Just letting the mind's eye follow that space between the sky and the earth. And then take your attention down to the waist. And very playfully, don't struggle if it's difficult. Allow the waist, the belly, the core, the hara to lead you into each swing. The waist drawing the hips round, knees following the hips. Little tiny stretch at the end of each swing down in the ankles. Waist drawing the chest round, shoulders following the chest, head following the shoulders. All the time the mind's eye on that distant horizon. So tempting to look up at the blue sky, so tempting to look down at the puddles on the floor. But just bring that mind's eye up to that space between the sky and the earth. All the time, just feeling the arms drawing on the shoulders, creating space in the chest. That's it. Slow motion hula hooping. That's it. Good. And then, as with so many of these repetitive movements, not putting the brakes on to stop, but just letting each movement get a little less, a little less, a little less, until the movement disappears. It doesn't stop, it just gets so small, you don't notice it. That's good. So we're as arrived as we can be. If things are going on that take our attention out, oh, I'm a bit, oh dear. Oh, there's a little bit of a gremlin in the system. My hand's stopping and starting on my screen. Hope you can see me clearly. Feet under the hips, and just turn your body slightly so that you're not looking straight at the screen. So that if there's a bit of blank wall in front of you, you can just let the mind's eye still look out at the horizon rather than being taken down to the screen. Let the knees soften a little bit. And be honest with yourself about how the hips, knees, ankles feel. The legs want to turn into springs. So it's a very gentle softening. And then the arms tick-tock. That's it. If your arms feel a bit stiff and stick-like, give them a shake. Oh, don't ration any shakes, any fidgets. That's it. Yes, there's definitely a few gremlins in the Wi-Fi today. I can see people stopping and starting. So I think it's all working okay and you can see and hear me clearly. That's it. Good. So this movement, quite a small movement to begin with. Arms no more than the pendulum on a clock. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Takes your attention down to the soles of your feet. You can't help but notice the floor beneath your feet, the earth giving you that support. Our wondrous assistant, the earth. So just let your attention notice how you touch the earth, how you receive that constant support from the earth. Soles of the feet pushed against the earth, beginning to put our roots down. That's it. Now to take some of the workload off the knees and the thighs and the hips, take your attention up to the crown of the head and just imagine you're on the end of a puppet string, golden thread. That puppet string lifts you up from the crown of the head. Your arms swing up. That puppet string drops you. Your arms drop. All the work coming from the crown of the head. Legs, thigh muscles don't have to do a thing. That's it. Now we've begun to put our roots down, we can intensify that. So let the arms swing a little higher, no higher than shoulder height, and no higher than you're comfortable. So if the shoulder joint doesn't like going too high, don't make it. Don't push through resistance. That's it. Only as high as the shoulders. Much slower movement, but more power. Your roots, the soles of your feet, not just being pushed against the earth, but really being pushed into the earth. That's it. All those keen people already making their arms go above their shoulders. Only let the arms go above when you've really got strong roots. Then you can let the body expand upwards, the arms going above the shoulders. Again, no higher than shoulders are happy. That upward swing now opens up the front of the body, space in the lungs to breathe more deeply, opens up the belly, space in the belly to digest and absorb the energy of the earth. And then just let each swing get a little smaller, a little smaller, a little smaller. Smaller and smaller, faster and faster. And again, not putting the brakes on, just letting the movement disappear. That's good. Well, if you are in a cold room, I hope that's just got the chi really moving, slightly aerobic movement. I'd like to move on to a movement that sort of echoes that, our whole body breathing. But something about today, I don't want to do the fast version. If your body craves the fast version and you know it, then I'll let you do it, all right? But let's just work on slow motion. Feet a little wider than hips. And again, just check that the knees are happy. And it's called whole body breathing because we're not just breathing into the lungs, we're letting the breath go down into the belly, out into the legs, out into the fingers and the head, to every single cell. But we use our whole body to do that. So first check is just letting the arms move up as far as your shoulders are happy. So again, no higher than you can smile, and then just let them come down. That's good. I'm going to move backwards slightly a little so you can see a bit more of me. So palms face back, knees are soft. Let the hips and knees bend as much as your body is comfortable with, and breathe in through the nose if it's clear, but if it's bunged up, mouth breathing is fine. Palms face back, breathe in to every part of the body, only as high as your shoulders are happy, and then just pause and let the breath out through the mouth. Same movement again, just to check on how your body is feeling today. Breathe in, only as high as your body's happy to go, and then let the breath out. That's good. Lovely. So now a little bit more focus, because that general image of breathing into the whole body is sometimes a bit fuzzy. So if there's a particular part of your body that is feeling neglected or feeling needy, let your attention breathe into that part of the body. So breathing in oxygen, energy, chi, prana. Palms face back, breathe in. And just let the breath out. And again, if there's another part of the body or the same part still shouting, breathe in. And let the breath out. That's good. So now shifting the focus, because we can't breathe in unless we breathe out. So a little bit more focus on breathing out from every part of the body. Breathing out carbon dioxide, waste, rubbish, anything we no longer need, breathing it out. So same movement, palms face back, breathe in, only as high as your shoulders are happy. Hold the breath, the arms make a big circle, palms face up, and then breathe out through the mouth as you drop down. Palms face down, breathe in. Hold the breath at your highest point, big circle, and breathe out. Breathe in. Hold, big circle, breathe out. We'll do two more. Breathe in. Hold the breath, big circle, and breathe out. One more. Breathing into every part of the body. Hold the breath, big circle, and breathe out. And finish breathing in. And just let the arms drop down as you breathe out. That's good. Slow or fast, that's a marvelous early morning duvet exercise when it's dull and dreary and damp and all you want to do is curl up in bed and pull the duvet over your head. That's a lovely way of just helping the body begin to move. And it's that hinge at the hips as you drop down that really pushes out a little bit more of the waste and the rubbish and what we don't need. And on that same plane, before we do the rest of our warming up exercises, we'll do a little movement called, from the 5-element form, the metal movement. So the basic movement is the arms wrapping ourselves around like we might on a cold day. So again, just being careful not to label small as bad. There are times when it's good to be small. And then unwrapping and spreading and creating more space where we need more space. So that's the basic movement. So start with your feet under your shoulders, knees soft. Just make sure, I'm going to turn slightly jauntily to the screen just because my fingers are a bit too long. Feet under the shoulders, and then just shift your weight so one foot can lift off the ground and move it the width of your foot to one side. Shift your weight, lift the other foot off the ground and move it the width of your foot to one side. So you've got a sort of wide shoulder stance, but not an incredibly wide stance. And that width just means that when you're using a little bit of power to push out, you drop down naturally to give yourself more stability and strength. Okay. So even before you start moving, just close your eyes and imagine somewhere where it feels good, where it feels safe to be big, to be as large as your body is entitled to be. It might be a wide open space down by the sea, up on a hill, but it may be just inside, the safety of your home, but somewhere where you can feel expansive. Let the arms go out as far as they're happy to go. And it just either on your own or maybe with good friends, someone saying, come for a walk on the downs with me. Someone saying, oh, I need some help choosing something in the shops. It's a good feeling, not an obligation. So from that spacious feeling, thumbs fold across the palm of the hand, fingers close over the first joint of the thumb, so the knuckle of the thumb is sticking out. So Qigong fist. Keep that space between the shoulders and let the arms begin to move forwards. And one arm goes over the other, doesn't matter which. And let the arms begin to wrap themselves round you. It's like being wrapped up in, what's that? I can't think of the word. Baby being wrapped up in a blanket. That nice feeling of being held tightly. We can hold ourselves tightly as well. Now, keep the fists close to the chest, elbows pulled back. And the minute you feel resistance in the shoulders, so you don't push through pain or tension, the minute you feel resistance, the elbows drop, palms open and face outwards. And just for a short moment, imagine you're in a very small space, a small room, your hands against the walls, but you can make that space bigger. You have the power to push against the walls. It's as if the walls are on casters. They're heavy, but they move. So you're pushing and pushing. You don't have to stop where your physical body stops. You can create as much space as you like. Hold that stretch. Breathe in. Palms face forward and fist. Breathe out. If you can remember, reverse which arm goes over the top, but don't worry if you do the same movement again. Breathing out, making ourselves small. Keep the fists close to the chest. Breathe in, beginning to expand. Elbows drop, palms feel that resistance on either side. Breathe out. That's it, that's it. Really feel that resistance. We can always create space, but we have to work for it. Hold the stretch, breathe in, fist, breathe out. Breathe in, fist stay close to the chest. Elbows drop when you feel resistance in the shoulders, palms face out and breathe out. Hold the stretch, breathe in, fist. Let the movement flow a little bit more. Breathe out, breathe in. Elbows pulling out like a bird's wings, unfurling, beginning to fly. Breathe out. Hold the stretch, breathe in. Fist, breathe out. Breathe in. Elbows drop. Last breath out. Hold the stretch. Breathe in, and this time as you breathe out, just let your wings, your arms drop. And come back to the basic standing position. Feet under the shoulders, knees soft. Give the knees a little wiggle. Anything that feels a bit stiff, have a little shake out, and never ration those shakes and wriggles and fidgets. Now we can calm down a little bit. That movement brings the energy up into the chest. So just standing, feet under the shoulders, knees soft. That puppet string drawing the crown of the head gently upwards. And again, beware of that tension in the back of the neck. Just check that your nose isn't being pulled up as the puppet string draws you up. So posh, regal, but not looking down your world at the world, not snooty. Just notice your breath. After those rather more aerobic arriving movements, my breath is really up in the chest. I can feel the chest filling, emptying, clothes getting tighter as I breathe in, looser as I breathe out. Just notice any sensation that tells you you're breathing. If the room is cold, it's easier to feel the air hitting your nose, hitting the back of your mouth, going up and down the windpipe. Gradually letting that awareness drop down to the belly. Feeling the waistband of your trousers getting a little tighter as you breathe in, a little looser as you breathe out. Lazy breaths. We're not running for a bus. We don't have an appointment. Just letting the breath fill the belly, empty the belly. Each breath in, recharging. Each breath out, releasing. If it helps, I love the image of the nose and the belly, two nostrils. I always think of a little toddler let loose with a crayon, drawing two nostrils just below my tummy button. Breathing in through the nose and the belly, recharging, refueling. Breathing out through the nose and the belly, releasing, creating space. Just letting that breath release and recharge. Checking your stance, letting the arms hang wherever the muscles want them to. No rules about where the elbows are. Just let the weight of your arms and the tension in the muscles decide where they'll hang. Check the knees aren't bent so you lose height, but not locked backwards. Without looking at your feet, just position them so they're as near parallel as your hips allow. If the hips and the tension in the buttocks creates difficulty going in parallel, don't move to tension. Feel the soles of your feet. Let your body just come forward slightly so you feel the balls of your toes. Notice how the muscles tighten up when the body pulls forwards. Let your body drop back onto the heels. Really feel how your heels touch the earth, but again, notice how the body tightens up when your body is pulled backwards. Find that middle space where the legs and the muscles are as soft as possible, where you can hang from that puppet string. Head hanging from the sky, spine hanging from the head. That wholly inappropriate word to describe that string of chunky bones hanging loosely. And wiggle or fidget, anything where you habitually hold tension. If the neck and shoulders begin to feel a bit tense, hunch them, roll them, don't hold back. My locking place is the low back, so just curling the tailbone in, releasing the low back, and then letting go. Don't hold that tension. Good. If the body ever feels tired or fatigued, you can sit and just find a chair where you can feel your sitting bones, the feet of your bottom. You can still hang from the sky sitting on a chair. So from this lovely position, just let the hands float up and either feel or create that ball of qi between the palms of your hands. Some days it's there. You don't have to work hard. Some days you have to spend a bit of time letting the mind create that ball, letting the mind's eye see a color, the mind's touch feel a texture, allowing that ball between your hands to have buoyancy, to be filled with helium, to have the power to hold your arms up. And in your own time, just when it feels right, if you know the shoulder rotations, just let it begin. That ball drawing the arms gently upwards. If you meet resistance in the shoulders, just pause, shake the shoulders. If they say that's high enough, don't use willpower to go higher. Wherever that ball, those shoulders meet resistance, then pause, let the ball divide like a cell, like an amoeba, one small ball stuck to the palm of each hand, no longer with the power to hold your arms up, so the arms are gently supported down. At the bottom, those two small balls join, one large ball with the power to draw your arms up. Wherever the shoulders say that's high enough, that's where you stop. Let the ball divide and two small balls underneath each palm, gently supporting the arms down. As the large ball draws your arms up, let your body breathe in. As the two small balls support your arms down, let your body breathe out. If today is a slow breathing day, the movement is slow. If today is a fast breathing day, the movement is fast. Neither is better than the other. It's just the way it is in this moment. Breathing in, the large ball draws your arms upwards. Breathing out, the two small balls support your arms down. All the time, the earth beneath your feet, under your bottom, giving support, stability, courage. All the time, that puppet string at the crown of the head, lightening the workload on the body, taking the weight of the head off the shoulders, the weight of the body off the weight-bearing joints. Breathing in through the nose and the belly, recharging. Breathing out through the nose and the belly, releasing. Noticing that moment of stillness, that pause between the in-breath and the out-breath. Noticing that moment of pause between the out-breath and the in-breath. So many moments of stillness. We don't need to create them. They're always there. If the shoulders begin to get tired, make the movement smaller. We just do 3 more circles. And at the end of your last circle, just find a place where that ball between the palms of your hands can be still, can support your arms, support your hands, somewhere between the chest and the belly. And before we finish, just check the shoulders haven't crept up towards your ears. Just check the puppet string is still keeping your head supported, so the ears haven't crept down towards your shoulders. And then just slide your hands on top of that ball, and gravity, no need to push, gravity takes the ball down to the earth. And we return back to the WuQi position. Knees soft, arms hanging. If the breath is up in the chest, don't reprimand it. Don't try to stop it. Simply take your attention down to the belly. If the chest wants to move, allow it. But let the belly be where your attention is. And then have a darn good wriggle and a fidget. And I need a glass of water. There we are. So, I don't want to miss out. If we're only doing an hour, I really want to make sure we've got time for gathering qi from all directions. So we'll avoid the knee rotations for the time being, although I do love them. But what I'd like to do is our connecting with the earth and our madness, a bit of shaking. I think it just appeals to me. So find a place where you can let your toes bend. So it can be in front or back, but just letting the balls of the toes bend against the ground. If today's a wobbly day, be near a wall or a chair. That's it. Hard floor's not good for this exercise. So carpet, rug, yoga mat. I saw you, Joe. Yeah, very sensible. Yeah, just to prove I am looking at the screen. And then just let your foot roll so there's more attention on the base of one particular toe. Doesn't have to be any particular toe, so you don't have to do this in sequence, but just let your body feel one toe very clearly and imagine all that lovely, warming, nourishing, hot winter vegetable broth in the belly that we've been breathing in, flowing down blood vessels, nerves, energy pathways from the core to that one root, that one toe. And just roll your foot from one toe to the next, No need to spend more than a moment on each toe, just visualizing connecting each root with the core and letting that warming, nourishing energy get down to our roots, which in this weather, in this season, getting closed in heavy, warm socks and boots, it's very easy to forget our roots. Oh, that's it. And then if it's okay, and sometimes you need that support, that backward flip, just see how that feels. Don't go into this position if it feels in any way vulnerable, but just the same thing, just roll the top of the foot over each toe and just pause long enough to connect the core to the top of each toe, to each root. And then heel on the ground. Imagine lassoing your big toe, pulling the big toe up towards your body so you feel that stretch going down the back of the calf, back of the knee, back of the ankle, unkinking the pathways that link your roots to your core. Gently, respectfully pulling the toe forwards, just untangling the knots in the hip. But never to, I don't like this, only ever to, and back. And then the same on the other side. So again, just finding a place where your toes are happy to bend, respecting any old damage to your toes, breaks, so not making them bend more than they're happy. Toes you can feel physically, you don't need to spend much time. It's easy to notice them, but the middle toes, second, third, fourth, quite difficult sometimes to feel them as individual toes. So you might have to really say in your mind, second toe, third toe, connecting them to the core. And then that backward flip, only if it feels safe, just letting the tops of your toes get a little stretch, taking your attention to each root and connecting the core to the root. And then weighing anchor, lasso that big toe, pulling up gently. Always makes me want to say heave ho, start singing a sea shanty. Pulling forwards, untangling the hips, again, never to vulnerability, only to a nice sense of, and then we can shake. Shaking ankles. Again, just imagine you've got out of the shower or the bath. If it's your bathroom, maybe you get out onto the bath mat and shake the water off on the bath mat. Maybe if you're staying at a friend's, you shake the water off in the bath before you get out and wet the bath mat. Little flick from the knee. Again, never any more flick than your body feels happy with. If a joint feels vulnerable, use a bit of respect. That's it. And now, care at the hips. Our ritualized kick out from the hip. So very carefully, rubbish in the hip, leg like a tube, and just a little kick. You're just dislodging the rubbish in the hip and pushing it down through the leg and out through the hip, the heel. That's it. And make a little, that helps get rid of the rubbish, especially if the body's a bit vulnerable. Other side. Again, doesn't have to be a big physical movement, but make that cat coughing up a fur ball movement. That's it. And now we can shake and be daft. I never know, depends on your character. Shake like the whole world's watching you. Shake like no one's watching you. Hands, wrists, upside down, side to side. What have you been gripping onto today? Physical things, carrying heavy loads, holding tight, gripping the mouse, getting deadlines sorted, white knuckle rides. Leaning forwards, let the shake come up through the arms, wiggle the shoulders, move the air in your chest. And if the head feels safe, a little bit of a wiggle of the head, loosen the jowls. So it's a Ah, ah, ah. Oh, my head's been chopped off. Let's just bring that back up. Ah, there we are. Oh, shaking cures 1,000 ills. So many issues in modern society are not to do with depletion, lack of energy. It's energy that's stuck. So shaking just helps loosen the energy move. Ah, so we've got 15 minutes. All that energy's up in the chest. We want to just settle that bottle of fizz. So feet under the shoulders, back into the WuQi position, arms hanging. Simple standing, WuQi, receiving. The opportunity of letting that racing heart, those deep breaths in the chest, gradually reduce, gradually coming down into the belly. As always, never putting effort into stopping the chest moving. Let it do its own thing. But take your attention down to the belly. And the chest will gradually subside. Breathing in, drawing energy, qi down to the lower centers in the belly. Breathing out, releasing, softening. That's good. So, we're going to do a lovely movement called gathering qi from all directions. If you get lost, just trust your body. So it's one of those nice movements where the liver energy begins to flow freely, and even if you're not moving in the same way as Kim, it's the intention behind the movement which is most powerful. So first thing is just shift your weight over to one side, lift the non-weight bearing leg and just widen your stance to a point where you feel comfortable. Shifting your weight back over to the other side and widening the stance. If during the exercise you feel you've adopted too wide a stance, you can adjust it narrower. If during the exercise you think, oh, I could be broader, widen the stance. So allow your body to have that flexibility. We start by just making that gathering movement, the arms reaching out, bringing the qi to the belly, hands resting on the belly. Now, if you're looking at me, it's probably best to imagine you're looking in a mirror. If you know the movement, then don't look at me at all, just trust your body. But turn the palms up. My left hand is underneath, so if you're looking at me in a mirror, then your right hand needs to be underneath. And that lower hand just scoops down. Doesn't matter where your body's happy to scoop, but imagine scooping qi up from the earth and bringing it back to the belly. And then the hand slides round the waist. Only as far as your hips, your back are happy, that upturned hand reaching as far as your body is comfortable. And on that hand, imagine a plate, and you're reaching out with that plate, inviting wherever it encounters your qi to come home, reaching forwards, reaching above and behind. Again, the movement doesn't need to be big, just as large as your body is comfortable. And then that collecting plate just touches the crook of your left elbow, if you're echoing me, and then unwind, reaching out, just inviting the qi around you in this moment, in this place, to come home. Not demanding. Fingers touch the small of the back and the hands slide round the waist. So your right hand now resting on your left hand. Left hand scoops chi up. That bringing chi of the earth back to the belly gives us stability. And from that place of stability, we can then let the collecting plate reach out, around us, in front, above, and behind, just gathering the chi from around you in this moment, in this place. Fingertips touch the crook of your right elbow, unwind. Fingertips touch the small of the back. That collecting plate comes round. And your right hand, your left hand rests on your left. So those first two movements are just in the here and now, in this moment, in this place. Now we can do our Doctor Who impersonations and travel in space and time. So same movement, that lower hand scooping chi up from the earth, giving us stability. And then that collecting plate doesn't need to be limited to collecting chi from around us. You can reach out across the world, to Europe, to Australia, to America, or just round the corner. Reaching out and inviting any chi that's left out there to come home. Any emotion your chi is fueling, just reaching out and saying, hey, why don't you come home? If it's not time to come home, just move on. That hand slides round the waist. Right hand on left. Left hand scoops up and brings the chi back to the belly. From that point of stability, we can reach out. Not just geographical reaching, we can reach forwards to the future. Hopes, plans, expectations, fears. Just inviting that chi that fuels those emotions to come home. Just for the duration of this exercise. No labels on the emotions. You don't have good or bad emotions. Just acknowledging our chi is fueling them. Reaching down, bringing chi back to the ground. Always starting from that point of stability with a strong earth connection. Reaching back. Moments of joy, moments of regret. Just bringing the chi that fuels those powers, those emotions back home. With a gentleness. With respect. Just saying there's a good home here in the belly. We'll do one more movement to each side. Just reaching out in space and time. No limit. Just letting that collecting plate reach out. Never demanding, simply inviting. And before we finish, just make the last two movements back here, now, in this moment, in this place. Just gathering chi that loiters around you. Loitering chi. just inviting that qi to come home. So one more movement. And then just letting the hands rest on the lower border of the belly, palms up. Shift your weight so your feet come back under the shoulders. And any Qigong exercise where you're gathering, where you're collecting, they finish with this wide open movement. It's like just simply closing the cupboard doors, not locking the qi up, not throwing the qi away, but just closing the cupboard doors, keeping the qi safe in the storehouse for when it's needed. Let the arms hang, feet are back under the shoulders, knees are soft. If you're sitting, really feel those sitting bones, those feet at the bottom. The chair being the earth, your connection, your bottom, your roots. Sky hook, keeping the body light. That's good. And then at the end of the class, that little ritual of lifting our roots, getting ready to move to another space. It might be the space of the same room you're in, but you're leaving this group, this class. So just shifting your weight, drawing your roots out of the earth very gently. We don't have great big tree trunk roots. We have fine plant roots that need to be treated with care. Lifting those roots out of the earth. That's good. Lovely. And if you're looking on one big screen, just at me, if it's easy, just flick your screen so you can see the group. So we can just get a visual idea of all four of us. I think Jo might be lying down doing some recumbent Qigong. So we'll just have to imagine her there. But to finish, we need to close our eyes and just visualize us standing in a circle. So close the eyes and just really making the people in the circle as real as possible. Now, turn the left hand up and imagine the person on your left just placing their right hand on your left hand. Your right hand, palm down. Just imagine resting that right hand on your partner's left hand. So we've created a circle where the palms are touching. The left hand is supporting. Imagine the weight of your partner's right hand resting on your left hand. Your right hand is being supported. Imagine that lovely feeling of someone supporting and taking the workload off your shoulder muscles. And then in that circle, just breathing in through the left hand, breathing out through the right hand. Receiving from the left, giving to the right. Supporting on the left, being supported on the right. The breath, the qi flowing round the circle. Each breath in, receiving. Each breath out, giving. Now, in your mind, just raise your right hand ever so slightly, breaking the physical contact, but still being connected. Breathing in through the left hand, breathing out through the right hand. Receiving from the left, giving to the right. The qi still flowing freely around the circle, even though we're not physically touching. And then to finish, just let your right hand drop down and be supported physically again. Imagine giving your partner's hand a little squeeze, ready to break the circle. And then I can never hear you, sadly, but 3 loud claps. And the 3 loud claps are separating us. We've been working as a group. Now we have our individual paths to go on.